Hi guys, it's me, it's Colette, I'm back, and this is your weekly tarot card for the week commencing Monday, the 30th of September 2019, and I had a wee joke with Jim before I went to have a wee look at this, and I said to him, last week, the week we're just coming through, I wasn't well, so I didn't put the weekly tarot card up, so I joked and I said I probably missed the tower card anyway, with everything that's going on in the world. And he said, oh well, that's good. And then I drew this week's card, and it is the tower. There we go, get a wee look at that there. Now the tower card is a major arcana one, and it has a tower on it that's collapsing in on itself and is falling down. In the original Rider-Waite deck and those type of decks, it's got literally the building and people throwing themselves out before the tower collapses. It's quite even predictive if you look at it. The tower's been struck by lightning. Its alternative name was the lunatics falling from the asylum. And if we look at the world, I do think that the lunatics are falling from the asylum at the moment. But anyway, so we have the tower for the week ahead. And again, I'll just show you it in Rorik. It's not one of these nice blue ones. Camera, come on. There seems to be in the middle of the tower some sort of checkerboard there, which can bring out the intellectual aspect of the tower coming down. So yeah, it's a tower, it's falling to the ground and it's crumbling. Is this a good card? Only if you can look by it, only if you can see that sometimes towers and structures and the things we've built round ourselves can become a liability, and the only way forward is to destroy literally what we've built up and start again. So yeah, that's a major card for this week, but it is true, sometimes in life this can indicate massive things. I mean, it could even talk about political regimes being changed, even political thoughts being changed. And I hope it's for a good way. I hope what comes out of it is the building blocks, the understanding, the knowledge and the lessons learned to build a new tower that's strong and secure and protective and more aligned to maybe the values of this time. So anyway, in the world, massive card. I'm doing this on Thursday, before the Monday ahead, and I've had to prise myself away from the whistleblower thing in the USA, because if I didn't prise myself away from it, I would be there all day and all night. So the whistleblower aspect, I mean, I wish I had been able to do the card for this week, because it would have been such a snug lead up to the tower, or maybe the tower itself. However, that sort of aspect, that we can see massive political change potentially, things that we thought might never happen might then just come tumbling down. So we've got the aspect of whistleblower complaints, impeachment in the States. We've also got the debacle, which is Westminster and Boris Johnson, Trump's twin, literally walking away from question times, PM question times, etc. And what he had set up was, the prorogation of Parliament was completely turned on its head when it was that was taken to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that he was wrong in the way he'd put it forward to the Queen. Now, in a way, this is the sense of what we're meaning. This thing happening in the UK is not tiny. because when things come tumbling down, new shoots will grow, and that could even be the breakup of the UK, Welsh independence, Scottish independence, maybe a unification of Ireland. In the States, it could be a whole new regime, or it could be an even tougher regime coming through, protectionist kind of thing. We don't know, but what happens in the week ahead under the influence of the Tower card is going to be massive, absolutely massive. So I want you all to be ready for it, because most of you that watch this channel, in fact I would say all of you, are empaths, and you feel things. Now at the moment there's a lot going on politically, there's a lot going on in countries, there's massive amounts of things going on environmentally, and you'll feel it. My younger daughter, who's very, very, very psychic and clairvoyant, she said this morning that everything felt jaggy, and I thought, yeah, you're right. Spiky, she said, sorry, spiky. Everything out there in the world feels spiky. And I know how she feels, because, even looking at things like, sort of videos of people being racist, videos of things, arguments in the street and all sorts of things, it does feel very spiky out there. Now, the Tower card releases a lot as it falls. I mean, energy goes to energy, so if something almost implodes, that energy has to go somewhere. So we need to watch out that we're not caught up in it, because if your barriers and your protections are not up in the week ahead, you will feel shattered, you might feel angry, you might be crying all the time, and you basically might just be floored by it all. So please look at the meditation to put your magical protection up, and please do it. So, massive change in the world. Let's look at it in individual terms, although for this card, to be honest, I'm much more intensely interested in the world situation influence. But if we take it more personal, in the general way, if we look at career, certain people might be getting made redundant in the week ahead, or knowing that their businesses may be changing names or being taken over by someone else. This can be a very difficult card for businesses to be under, because it does tend to mean major change. And even if that isn't there for your company, it could be there for you individually, where you literally see that for you to be happy in life, you cannot work the way you've been working, whether it's for health, whether it's mental health, or whether it's just that you need to follow your dreams and go and do what you need to do. So in a way, going through this card, it's what comes out after it that I'm interested in. The new shoots that got all the building blocks. The tower just doesn't disappear, it's rubble. There's a song I like, that Freya Ridings, it's called Castles. If you ever get the chance to see it, it's brilliant. She'll make castles out of the rubble of your love. It's a great lyric. I wish I thought of it. So castles is a bit like this, that things come down, but she's using the rubble that was there to build her life back up again. So Freya Ridings, it's called Castles, and if you have a wee look on YouTube, you should find it. I know it's been out a year or so or whatever, but I'm just catching up with Freya Ridings at the moment, and I adore her. I absolutely adore her stuff. I could listen to her all the time. Lost without using another one. Anyway, I'm blethering. I'm trying to soften the blow of the Tower card, and here we go. So work-wise, possibly major change for a lot of people, or people feeling the change that's going on round about them, and there you go. Health-wise, have you reached the end of your tether with a health issue? Are you feeling that you're going into collapse? Ask yourself that question. Is your physical health at the time where you can no longer keep standing with it? If so, please put your hand out and get help. I'm learning this. I was really disappointed I couldn't do the weekly tarot and the things that come from it as well, all the conversations and the little bits and bobs. I was really disappointed last week, but I knew that if I did it and edited it, well, do what I do, put it up, and then get involved in it all, that I really would have no energy left. So I listened to my potential tower, and I literally pulled right back. There were days where I literally read my books or slept. And look, I'm back. Okay, I've got the red lippy on, so you know I'm still not right. But the red lippy completely hides a multitude of sins. So does the makeup. But health-wise, are you ready for collapse? And if you can admit that to yourself and put your hand out and get help, you might then knock the tower out the ballpark. But there's also times where we have to go through the tower influence, things breaking down for us to find better health further down the line. So there might be a few in this position that maybe get diagnosis in the week ahead and they sound not so good, but let's go a year ahead and you could look back and say that was actually good because they found this, they treated that, they did that. So hang on to the hope of what comes after it. Relationships, wouldn't bother looking for a new relationship this week. Just look after yourself, pamper yourself, have some self-love time, and just be calm and don't get caught up in anyone else's sort of their problems that maybe include you when you don't need to be included. If you're in a long-term relationship, there could be something that comes right up to your face that says this needs changed or we have a problem. And if you don't address it, then things could go down the way. So try and use this influence to communicate. And sometimes it's good to maybe have that change, that you know that you have to move house, say, or you have to really have some time to yourself to look at what you need, and then you can give more to the relationship. But this is not a particularly good card if you're in a dodgy relationship. If it's a long goodbye, then it could be a shorter goodbye, put it that way. My goodness, this sounds so finances. Well, watch out for your finances, watch out for fraud, watch out for markets being all over the place, and just look after your money. There's not much more I can say. This influence really can cause crashes and it can cause all sorts of things happen, but you know, the benefit is that new things can be built. This is the card, believe it or not, that I always think reminds us that we should, if we can afford it, have insurance policies. And you know, there's a lot of times where you think, oh, insurance, it's not important. But I mean, even last week we had to take Benji to the vet. He's got some sort of infection, and literally, very good vet. We're in there for 5 minutes, got some stuff done, and we're slapped with a £72 bill, which was mainly for medication. Now, as a retired pharmacist, I know how much the medication can cost, so I therefore knew the markup on it. But anyway, it is what it is. If there needs to be more treatment, we'll reach the excess and we have insurance, so it's a big relief. So I think there might be people with either their homes, particularly their things to do with their houses, their edifices, their structures that might be problematic, maybe flooding, maybe the chimney coming off, whatever, all sorts of mad stuff. And this is the card that can be a reminder, I'm glad we had insurance. And if you don't, further down the line say, yeah, we're getting insurance. Spiritually, this can be a big test, because you can be totally overwhelmed by what's going on, or you could feel that you just have not moved for a long while and then things really take off. It's a difficult card to work through, but it's worth it, because sometimes sometimes in spirituality we put ourselves in boxes. We build our own tower and we stand at the top of it and we say, I am this, I am that. We name ourselves, we put ourselves in boxes, and sometimes that allows us to stagnate. So sometimes we need a tower to take the tower down, we fall with it, and then we realise we have to build again, but this time we're building it in a different way. Spiritually, I think certain people will understand that in the week ahead. I also have to say that the week ahead is Navratri Durga Puja, and as in the middle of this negative card, I have to say, enjoy celebrations in India or all over the world, whoever follows Goddess, and enjoy yourself, and enjoy the colour, enjoy the food, because I know I'm going to, and let's take it from there. So that is probably going to be far too long. Oh no, it's over 15 minutes, that's okay. For those of you that have made it to the end, there's the card again. I hope that if the tower does hit you, because it won't hit everybody, it's an influence, it's a general influence, but if it does hit you, hang on in there and know that new things can grow, and you've got the building blocks and the knowledge to build the way that you want to in the future. So let me know how you got on with this one, will you, and what you think also of the world situation and the environmental situation. So many blessings now. I hope to do some more videos, and catch you next week for next week's Weekly Tarot. Bye now. Put this off now.